reconnected and free. Find new paths. This is your podcast space for deep life lessons and raw reflections from an open-end world journey and a soul-led life. Hosted by Maya. Let's talk about expectations. What do you expect from yourselves? What do others expect from you? And how does that serve you? Because this is something we are all confronted with. Expectations from the inside and outside. But most of the time, and I'll get deeper into that, it's the expectations from outside that can really harm us. And most of the expectations are from the outside. Because in our true self, we wouldn't judge us that badly. We wouldn't be like, I have to achieve this and that, and building up all these expectations there for us to push us further. And they can really harm us because we are like, okay, expected this day, this goal, this feeling, this achievement to be like this, to feel like this. And in the end, it's not. And we can get frustrated about we imagined something differently, but it didn't turn out like that. And this is like the kind of balance because we do want to imagine, to visualize, to manifest our dream life, our goals, to get that extra support from universe. But it can also turn out like I have expectations and I'm pushing myself really hard to get there. I really only focus on this is what it needs to be like. Nothing else is the true way, the true outcome. And then it can be really destructive. A solution I have, and it's, of course, I think sounds more simple than it really is, but you can learn it, you can grow into that, is that we manifest but we leave some space for how how exactly it will turn out, what that extra outcome, magical sprinkle might look like, so that there's like some space that we are clear in what we want, but how we get it, or maybe how exactly it will turn out around what we want. This is open, so expectations can't hit us that badly, and we have to deal with what our expectations are like, how much we hold on to them, and if they help us or if they destroy us. And most of the time, these expectations, as I said, are not coming from inside of us. They are coming from the outside, from other people who are telling us what our life should look like, what our goals should like, where we should be, who we should be. Or they are coming outside in a sense of everyone else in your age is doing a certain thing. Is it a certain life point? Someone in your family? Everyone has achieved that little something, so you need to do that too. So it's like the comparison. And as I said in an earlier episode of this podcast, there are two sides of comparison too. Who are you comparing yourself with? And does that serve you or does that just push you down? It's the really important thing for expectations too. And when other people are expecting things for us and they are telling it to us, or we kind of made their expectations our expectations because we grew up from learning from them, so we thought like this is what it needs to have a good life, this is it, but it's not ours. It didn't came from inside of us, it came from other people who hopefully wanted the best for us and thought the best is that we are drilled to achieve that, to do that, whatever. And as I'm in my 20s, as always, this is what I can refer best to, as that this can be quite exhausting and confusing because for me, these 20s are a special time where everyone you knew and everyone you know is at a totally different phase or stage in their lives. For example, some are starting another job again, some are studying again, some are like in the beginning, they are again in the beginning because they yeah, they stopped with the first thing they studied. Others have just graduated from university. Some bought a house, some went on worldwide travels, some are getting married, some are getting engaged, some are having their first kids, some are pregnant, some have like an animal, some are all the time partying, whatever. This is a phase of life where everyone is at such a different point, but still it is expected, that's what I feel like, to slowly get your life together, to prepare yourself for your 30s. And you're like in the position of comparing automatically, okay, what are others doing that I grew up with? What are others my age doing right now? Where am I? And most of the time, it's also expected that you follow a certain path in your life. Like if you go to school, then you go to university or learn a job, you work in a job. And then for some, it's also expected to marry someone from the opposite gender and then getting kids and uh, hopefully a house. But this is really expensive these days, and so on. So I understand it's expected because this is like what has always worked, what is the safe kind of way. But I also feel like something is shifting right now in this society and how things work and how jobs and money are working. And it's still in that kind of shifting phase. So it's not approved yet what is happening, but it's also like the old isn't working anymore. It's not working for many in my generation to work 9 to 5 and in the end not having enough money for the month, and yeah, clearly not having enough money for a house, being not flexible, just living for someone else, and then in the end not having enough. And yes, some are happy with their job and their career they found. And honestly, I respect that so much and I'm so happy for that and for those kind of people because this is somewhere I never fitted in, and it would be also really nice to be happy with that. But I'm now only focusing because of the expectations kind of thing we're talking right now about the ones falling off. Yeah, let's put it in these words. Like the ones I'm talking about in the generation now, where's the shift happening about us who are finding out no matter where in their 20s or when in their life they are, maybe learned the job, maybe worked in a job already, maybe not at all, as the generation after mine coming seems to be like more, and I myself too. And there we are, not having a perspective, not knowing what this world is gonna be like in some years, if it's all worth it at all, and our wish for freedom, for being free, and kind of also about being happy and living our own lives. And for all this freedom, for all this that we want, there need to be other ways. So it's expected that we go the safe way, what has always worked, and to do what everyone else has done, understandably. But we feel like we need to break out there and we do something new. We need to create something out of the unknown, do our own thing. And this can be, I think, quite hard for other generations to understand that we are like doing things different now. And they might also want to protect us. And I think it's a constant change happening. So, how can we stick with the old? How can we follow expectations when things are constantly changing, and these days also a massive shift in energy frequency in the world, as you clearly can also see that things are changing right now. So how do we handle expectations? I think it's important when we're talking to loved ones that they have expectations for us, that we are like really listening what they want to tell us, that we are like talking openly about what we feel like and what our perspective is at these expectations they are having. So it's like an eye-to-eye conversation. And then to also stay on our point of view, like when we are saying our opinion, okay, in my opinion, I think, and not saying like this is what it is like now, because this is just our perspective. Our perspective is important, but in the end, it's just our perspective, and we also want to honor the other person's like perspective. And maybe, as in many talks where we go deeper, where we really listen, we can also learn something from that conversation from the other person, because maybe this person is giving us a shift in perspective, something we haven't thought about yet. And this can be really nice. But I think for talks like this, both sides kind of need to be open for something new, for learning, for, yeah, just wanting to understand the other one, because out of love, and not wanting to say like, okay, the outcome of this conversation needs to be that you have my opinion. Because this is something else I've discovered. We think we always need to agree with others, especially our loved ones, so that everything is like in harmony and is great. But it doesn't need to be like that. It is okay when we disagree on some topics, but still respect the other person, respect that this person has another opinion, that there is no coming together on that topic, on that question. And this is totally fine. Yeah, when you're really close to with your loved ones and there's like just things that aren't working together, when you have everywhere different opinions, can be quite difficult. But in some areas, we can just disagree. It matters how we are disagreeing, how we are talking to each other. Are we saying, you need to get my opinion, you need to deeply understand it, you need to have my opinion after the conversations, and we are getting loud, or we're not listening, or whatever? Or are we just like openly, calmly talking with genuine interest? So I think it's important to get into those conversations, but yeah, both sides need to be kind of ready for that. Or when you feel like it doesn't work right now, it's also important to just stop the conversation at that point, maybe try it later again. And in the end, and this is so important, expectations are just other people's perspectives and opinions. It's what has worked for them, or what they think automatically because it has worked for them or for others generations before. It has to work for you too. But that's not how it is, because everything, as I said, is constantly changing. So what has worked does not have to work again. And you're a beautiful individual being. So how can someone else judge if things will work for you or not, especially when they don't have experience in that kind of area, or when you're like so different in a good kind of way? I hope you're getting it. So with these expectations also, you have to keep in mind, as I said, they are just one person's or some person's perspective, but it doesn't mean that you need to be like that. Many people are burning out, are really getting frustrated, even sick, because they are living someone else's life. And this is what can also happen when you just follow the path that is given, the expectations of other people, what they want you to have a job, they want you to be like, and so on. And then what can happen is that you someday wake up and you feel like, okay, this is not my life. Why? Maybe we don't even realize it in the first place. Maybe in the first place it's just like, okay, why am I always so tired? Why don't I get anything done? Why am I not happy? Why am I not laughing enough? Or not at all? As kids we laughed so much, but how often are you laughing, like really from your deepest heart, and not just about a joke or because you want to be polite? How often do you laugh per day? And how is your energy at the end of the day? How does your body feel? And maybe at some point you realize, and this is really brave, that you got the signs, that you realize it, that this is not your life. This might seem from the outside as if you're successful, if you're going the right path, if this is leading you somewhere you need to be, but in the inside you feel so empty. You feel like something is wrong, and you don't think that the others were wrong with telling you this is your path, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to be like, but you feel like you're something wrong with you because you're the one who just can't manage that, who just can't be happy, even though you must be happy because you've achieved so much, you're living the life someone else is dreaming of, whatever. And let me tell you something. I am convinced that many people out there, especially many young people, that are just doing something because they got convinced that this is the right thing to do. This is like the only choice they have. And they don't show that they are not happy, that they are exhausted, frustrated, whatever it is that they are feeling. But they don't show it because no one else is showing it. So they are the strange ones. So they need to get into the system again. They just need to function. This is like the functional survival mode. So we need more people who are showing that they aren't alive right now and this doesn't work for them anymore. And this is so brave to then show that, to then start shifting that and to get into flow again, being more happy again, not being resistant anymore to that constant change we are in, but to go with it, to grow into that. So it's not just about expectations, but the person we get because of these expectations, because of the life we are getting because we are following these expectations. And as I said, please, if you feel like, yeah, this can't be all or this can't be my life, then be brave, even though you don't know where exactly you want to go instead or how to get there. You can change that because you have choices. You have choices. Even though there seems to be just one way how to live a successful, nice, great, whatever life, there's not. There are so many different ways that you can express yourself, that you can really live good and also not short term, but long term. And there are more choices I wish I knew after school, trigger, after school to get a job and to earn good money, for example. It's not just go to university, learn a job, or go directly working into a job. There's so much more out there, and you deserve to know more, to widen your perspective, to just get these informations, these ideas to make a proper choice. Because how can you really choose for yourself what you want to achieve, what you want to live like, when you just know a few perspectives or in general just one way? But this one way is often just functioning. It is safe, but functioning. And safe in the end, I want to tell you now, in the end, is just not safe at all. It's just a perspective. It's just a feeling we're hoping to get because it has worked for others. It has worked the years before. It had worked for you. But what's the price of the safety? The safety that can also, yeah, just puff away, just go away suddenly. Because, like, for example, not the best job is safe. No job at all is safe. So it has some safety aspects, but what's the price? What is the price? And also, what is the price from following other people's expectations for just, in the end, people pleasing. It can just make you unhappy. Yes, get inspired by others. Listen to others who are there where you want to be. Just get ideas. Go and talk with people. Deeply listen for what has worked for them, what ideas they have when you feel kind of lost. That's totally fine. But in the end, it's up to you and your true self, your core ID, and your heart to choose, and then to claim what is truly yours. It's not about following other people's expectations. It's about creating whatever you wish for from the inside out. Thank you for being here. This podcast accompanies you through big changes, life's questions, and the beauty of finding your own way. If you what touched your heart today, I'd love to read that in the comments. You want daily insights and travel life and direct learnings? Then make sure to follow me on Instagram. The links are as always in the show notes. Keep walking your path. Much love, yours Maya.